Welcome to the first episode of the Wish I'd Known Then podcast. I'm mystery author Sara Rosett, and I'm here with my co-host, Jami Albright. Hey, Jami.
Hi, Sara. Hey, I'm Jami Albright. I am a rom-com author, and we're looking forward to doing this podcast for you guys.
Yeah, so we're just going to tell you a little bit about ourselves and a little bit about the podcast and let you know what you can expect. So first, let's talk about the podcast. So,
Okay.
Jami, tell us what our goal is and what we want to do with this podcast.
Well, we came up with the name Wish I'd Known Then because, as authors, we always want to learn from our mistakes, but also not just mistakes, we're also making corrections as we go, a lot of the times, especially as indie authors. And so there are a lot of things that I wish I'd known 2.5 years ago when I started publishing. And I might have done things differently, or I might have done them the same, only more of that. And so that's really the goal of the podcast, just give authors the benefit of more experience and more seasoned authors' experience, and hopefully help them not make the same mistakes, but also give them new ideas and things that they can try.
Yeah, and I think that you and I are both big podcast listeners. We're always talking about what we've listened to, what we've liked, and we're always sharing podcast episodes. And I think that we both feel like there's a lot of podcasts that really focus on tactics and like do this now, especially for advertising and marketing. And we kind of want to zoom out and be the overview, the big picture. So to help people kind of take the bigger view of their career and figure out what they can do and hopefully help them not make the same mistakes we made or that, our guests have made. So
right. And it's not the podcast. We also kind of felt like there was a hole in the market for more experienced authors maybe that aren't seeing the results they want to see. And we're hoping that this podcast will give them just a fresh idea and help them to see that authors who are succeeding maybe didn't always succeed and they had setbacks. And hopefully it's an encouragement to authors that have been doing it for a while and either aren't seeing results or want to see better results. And so that's really my hope too.
Yeah. So we'll tell you a little bit about ourselves. I'll go first, I guess. I write mysteries, and Jami and I were very different in like what we do and how we do it. So we think it'll be a really interesting perspective. So I write mysteries. I was traditionally published. Now I'm all in indie. I've written over 25 fiction books, and I have a couple of nonfiction thrown in there. And I have a course on how to write a cozy, and that is about like the big overview of me. I'm married and have 2 kids, but they're in college, so I'm an empty nester, and I live in Houston. So that's kind of big picture, Sara.
Yeah, and I'll say this because Sara won't. She is super successful, y'all. She really knows what she's doing. She's figured out her market, her audience. She writes directly to her audience, and it's really, really just amazing to watch her do that and see the fruits of that labor.
I'm blushing.
So I'm Jami Albright, and I write romantic comedy. I have a 4-book series. It's a runaway bride series called Brides on the Run. I started publishing 2.5 years ago and really haven't ever looked back. I never tried to go traditionally published. I really knew almost from the beginning that I wanted to be an indie author. I love the freedom that it gives me. I love the knowing that it's mine, like it's all mine. And I have people that help me, my editors and my cover designers, but I'm steering the ship and I really like it.
So yeah, Jami is awesome, and it's been so much fun to see her dive in and just do great. And I enjoy seeing her perspective, and we meet for lunch quite often because we live in the same town.
We both live in Houston, yes.
Yeah, and it's been fun to see her just take off and have her career take off, and she's excellent at advertising, something I'm trying to learn.
Yeah. Well, and just speaking of, you were saying how we love podcasts. I mean, I got my indie publishing education through podcasts. I just devoured everything that I could get my hands on. And if somebody said they were doing it and having success, I wrote it down so that when it was my turn to put my book out, I tried it. If it was done, I tried almost everything. Some of it worked, some of it didn't. So.
Yeah, same for me, because coming from the traditional world, the very first podcast I listened to was the Rocking Self-Publishing podcast. Do you remember that?
Miss Simon.
Yes, me too. And so I learned so much from that. And one thing I've learned is like, I need to filter, because I used to just do everything. I think, I need to do that. And I put it on my list. So, but it's been really great just to learn stuff. And so we hope to continue that with this podcast and kind of talk to maybe some new people. I guess we can talk a little bit about who we're going to have on. We're going to try and have like industry leaders, people, names but then we're also going to try and have people on that maybe you haven't heard of or not as well known. A lot of people just keep their heads down and do the work, and you don't really know what they're doing, or you may not have heard of them. But we want to have some new names on too.
Yeah, we're going to try to pull them out of their writing cave and get them on the podcast. And you were talking about filtering. Hopefully this podcast will help you filter out some of the things that don't work and do work, and, those sorts of things, and give you a little bit of a shortcut, hopefully. There's not really a shortcut. It's all hard work, but sometimes you can cut down on the clutter. So.
Yeah, not everything has to go on the to-do list.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So
here's some of the guests we're going to have, Sarah.
Well, we're going to have Becca Syme. We have Becca Syme, and we have Jay Thorne, and Nathan Van Coops, and who else? Help me remember. We've already talked to
Kirsten Oliphant is going to be one of our guests, and
Amy Boyles.
Yes. So those are some of the ones we have coming up, and we're really looking forward to talking to them, and can't wait for you guys to hear them. And we just hope that this podcast really gives you the kind of information that you need, the kind of encouragement that you need, and entertains you a little bit. So
we hope you learned something and laughed too.
Absolutely. So thank you guys, and we look forward to hanging out with you once a week.
Yeah, so subscribe and you'll be the first to get the episodes as they come up, and tell your writer friends if you enjoy it, and we would really appreciate it.
Yeah. Tell your friends.
Talk to y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.